Hi. So if you're listening to this now, you're watching the replay. And I just want to say hello and welcome. This session is a healing service, which means we're not going to do our usual thing. We're not going to learn any skills today because this session is not about skills. It's about answering questions that go beyond the how-to. Welcome Laura, Donna, Marisol, and Jennifer. So many of you, welcome Sonia, have told me, and I was really surprised to see the number of responses of people with this experience. It really threw me for a loop. You know, I'm not unfamiliar with people telling me, hey, I feel other people's feelings. I feel people's energy. You know, I think I might be psychic. You know, I just have these feelings sometimes. I feel like I just know what's going on. I can tell what someone is like. But I really didn't expect this surge in people coming forward and trusting me to share with me their experience, where they can predict or dream or feel or see future events. And it's not ordinary stuff. It's big stuff. Big stuff like the death of a loved one. And how shaking that can be to know that you were able to predict a tragedy before it happened. What do you do with that knowing? Do you think, I could have stopped this? Do you think, what if I had done something? What if I had said something? What if I had warned someone? And some folks tell me that when they have predictions, they do want to warn people and they try. But they have a fear that other people are going to look at them and say, you're crazy. What are you talking about? That's not going to happen. Just relax. Don't worry about it. But you know, and you feel so strongly that something is going to happen. And you feel this foreboding, this sense. But what do you do about it? Because we can't control the outcome. We can't control the progression of events. We can't control other people. We can't control circumstances. So if anyone else is having trouble hearing me, I just want to make sure, because Marisol said my internet keeps buffering, I just want to make sure that there's no issues on my end. So let me know if there's any issues and I can try to move my location. So what I thought for today was we can collectively come together and put that question out there to spirit. Whether you call it spirit, God, source, universal being, infinity, gods, however you relate to your higher power, your universal calling and soul within you that really encompasses all of us. However you refer to that, whatever name you give it, I'm going to call it spirit for today. Let's ask with open hearts, what are we meant to do when we're given information about the future, but we feel we can't control the outcome? When you give us this information, what do you want from us? What's your calling for us? So you'll also notice that I put up some song lyrics because at some point during the service, I thought that we could have a song so you guys would be able to read the lyrics. So when the time feels right, we can do the song, but for now I'm getting guided to channel. So I have these cards and a little story. These belong to my wife. They were given to her by a friend. And I asked her, may I use your circle cards for my healing service tonight? Not sure if she would say yes or no because, you know, as a reader, I know that, you know, I don't let everybody use my cards for everything. I don't want anybody's energy getting into my cards. So I didn't know she was going to say yes, but she actually texted me back and said I'd be honored. And I wasn't expecting that. And I felt like I was maybe going in maybe my ego was kind of getting in the way. My mind was getting in the way. And I was thinking, well, you know, I don't want to dirty up her cards with my energy. So maybe she won't let me use them. And then the fact that she thought it would be an honor really touched me. So I'm feeling that tonight. And I also feel like we can draw a connection, or I can draw a connection to living this life and being given a gift from God or spirit or source that we feel like we're not worthy of. Because spirit gives us so many gifts. Our creator gives us so many gifts. And we're stuck thinking, why me? Why did you choose me to know this? Why did you choose me to feel this? Why did you choose me to have this ability? I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to make mistakes. Why me? Can you just take it back? And I've actually heard that from so many people. Please take these gifts back. I don't want them. And that to me is really sad, because if you're given a gift, I feel like it is an honor, and it is for a purpose. And, you know, when our gifts are so miraculous, we start to think, well, if we're going to use these gifts responsibly and use them well, then we have to behave the best. We have to be utterly perfect to be worthy of using these gifts. And the truth is, we're never going to be perfect. And we're never going to be worthy in our own minds if we continue setting that standard. The only calling when you have a gift is to go out there and help people, even if it's torture to you. Your only calling with a gift is to go out and help people. That's what's really coming through. And they want me to say it again. The only calling when you're given a gift is to go out and help people. Without thinking, without doubting, without worrying, without stressing, without saying, I'm not good enough. Go out and help people. Don't let anything stop you. How are we doing with the connection, guys? Can you let me know if you hear me or not? Because if you can't hear me, I'm going to move. Can you just send me a couple words? Hey, I can hear you, or hey, you're freezing up. A lot of emotions, right? A lot of clicking on the buttons, but I think I'm going to move inside because I'm afraid that you guys won't be able to hear me. So welcome, Ruth, Ada, Tegan. Welcome, everybody who just joined. Thank you for joining. Okay. Hopefully this should work a little better. All right, can somebody? Good. All right, thank you. Okay, some people said freezing up. Thank you. Okay. The only purpose when you have a gift is to go out and help people. And why do I have to keep saying this again and again? It's because we forget. We always forget. We think that the purpose is so we can look good. We think that the purpose is so we can solve everybody's problems for them. We think the purpose is so that we can go and stop things from happening that people don't like. But that's not helping people. That's something secondary. It's something that we might like to do. It's something that other people might say they like us to do. But it's not helping people. True help comes from spirit, God, source. He wants me to say God. If you have predicted something and it happened and you have regret, they're saying forgiveness, okay? They're saying universal forgiveness. So not just the forgiveness that we have in our hearts, not just the limited human forgiveness where we can't forgive everybody who's wronged us, but universal forgiveness. For anyone that has regrets, you knew that something bad was going to happen and you couldn't stop it. You knew that something bad was going to happen and you didn't say anything. You knew that something bad was going to happen and you did try to say something and people said you were crazy, and so you took a step back and you hid. You knew that something bad was going to happen, but you acted wrong. You didn't communicate to the right people at the right time. You didn't stop it from happening. And there's guilt. There's a guilt there. There's a regret. And they're saying forgiveness is here. Forgiveness is coming through right now for you. It may not have been here because you didn't let it into your heart before, but they want you to accept it today. forgiveness. And it all comes back to the first message. It all comes back to the purpose of helping people, helping each other, helping ourselves and our world, helping those who connect to us and call on us for help. We cannot help anyone without being forgiven and forgiving ourselves. Forgiveness happens every second and every minute of every day. If you don't take it in one moment, it'll be for you in the next moment. Forgiveness is here. Forgiveness goes into the future, and it goes into the past, and it goes deep into the present. It goes into every fiber of life. Forgiveness is here for you now. That's the law. Second card says law of life. So I'll hold this up so you can look at the picture, because these pictures have messages and they have feelings. Right, so you have forgiveness, and that's a feeling of peace, closure, harmony. They want you to be at harmony. That is the will of spirit. That is the will of the universal power, is for us to be at harmony, for us to be forgiven, for us to be at peace with one another, with ourselves. That is the law, that all wrongs must be forgiven. It's the law. The only way that we can try to resist this law is to try to slow it down by refusing to forgive ourselves, refusing to open our hearts, refusing to accept the forgiveness that is here for us. How many times have you been imperfect and you still received blessings? How many times have you been less than the person you knew you were meant to be? How many times have you felt, really, I'm not being a good person right now, and you still got blessings? You reap what you sow, but sometimes you don't know exactly what you're sowing. Sometimes we only see the bad, and we don't know all the good seeds that we're putting in the ground, all the water that we're shedding upon it when we're crying and when we're in pain. We feel our own pain and we focus on our own pain, and that's all we can see. And we don't realize that we're watering the ground with our tears. And we're actually sowing seeds that will grow for us into blessings. So it's not that you're not responsible for your consequences. Every action, every thought, every feeling has a consequence. Everything we put out has a consequence. We all reap what we sow, but we don't always see what we sow. And that's where we start to lose faith. That's where we start to doubt ourselves, because we don't know everything that we are giving out, that is coming and channeling through us. We don't see all the good that others see coming from us, because people are seeking our help. If you have a calling, if you're being given information, the reason why you're being given information is because Spirit knows that there's someone that needs to hear it. And it may be you, and it may be someone else. Who that is, your mind, your ego, your body, your humanness does not know who it's meant for until you get that guidance, until that person is in front of you and you know that it's the right time to speak. So the prayer is, give me words to speak. Be on my shoulder. Put your hand on my shoulder at every second and guide me, because I don't know what the plan is. All I know is that you gave me information in this moment, and I don't know who it's for. I don't know who to bring it to. And then the third is universal truth. And this is something that you can recognize. Truth is recognizable. When we make up stories in our heads, when we make up lies in our heads, when we hear lies from other human beings and get them in our heads and hear them in our minds and feel them in our hearts, we know they feel like lies. We have a sense. It starts to get confusing. We start to feel like we're taken off our course. We start to feel uneasy, tense, rigid, stressed. That's when we know we're listening to lies. And we also have that sense when we're listening to truth. When you know it, you know it. Let's bring in that certainty today. Confusion is not from Spirit. Confusion is not from love. Confusion was not where we're meant to be. We're meant to be in clarity. We're meant to see clearly, and we're meant to know universal truth and recognize it when it comes to us. So when you hear the truth, you know it, and you can hold to that and trust that no matter what anyone else says. So we ask you, Spirit, for clarity. We ask you, Spirit, to show us very clearly what is truth and what is lies. And the next time that we feel a knowing or hear information or see something or predict something or dream something, let us all have that division be made and that boundary be set between what is truth and what is just noise, what is truth and what is a lie, what is truth and what is useless junk that the world gives us, because there's a very clear difference between what the world gives us and what spirit, infinite universal being, gives us. There's a big difference between what material world needs of survival and stress give us and fear give us and what love gives us. Very clear distinction. And we can't be in the dark anymore. We can't pretend to not know this anymore. We can't pretend to not recognize this anymore. We must now recognize with complete and total clarity when it is a lie and when it is truth, when it is confusion and chaos and when it is clarity. So let us have that clarity be brought to us tonight, today, into the next day, into the next day. With every day that goes by, let us have more and more clarity, because we are meant to help. We're not meant to run around confused. We're not meant to confuse other people. We're not meant to throw out lies and chaos. We're not meant for that. We are meant to help. We're meant to bring clarity. We're meant to be voices of truth. If God gives you truth, then you are meant to give truth. If Spirit gives you truth, you are meant to give truth. If Spirit gives you love, pure, clear love, no question, you are meant to give that out with just as much certainty. So let your next messages come in with greater clarity, greater certainty, greater love. At any time, please feel free to ask a question of me. I'm here, I'm available, and I'm channeling for the next 44 minutes. I'm here for you. If you have a question, I will ask, and let's see what comes forward if that is what you would like to hear. Welcome, welcome, Chrissy, Whitney, Katrina. Thank you for being here. So feel free to ask a question at any time. Feel free to speak what's on your mind, or even just ask it in your heart. If you ask a question in your heart, even if you don't type it in the box, let's trust that your answers will come to you through whatever channel you're meant to hear it. Because all information is available to us at any time. All information is available to us at any time. I want to share a personal story. So last year, around this time, I was in a very dark place. And Robin, yeah, I see you had a question, so just type it. I'll be scrolling for it. I was applying for jobs because I had basically created financial disaster for myself, and it was affecting everyone. It was affecting my wife, and it was affecting my relationships with everybody that was close to me. I was creating chaos. I was following people that didn't have my best interests at heart. I was letting toxic mentors take advantage of their ability to influence me, and I was allowing them to. And although my heart's broken from the hurt, I take responsibility for the choice that I made and for my lack of discernment and my lack of clarity. So I lost a lot of money per the guidance of somebody that didn't have my best interests at heart. And I felt paralyzed. So the next step was, well, I have to go get a job, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to come back running my business, especially as a healer, when I'm in so much pain. So I have to go and get a job. So that was about February, March of 2018 that this happened. So I started looking. And I looked. It took me 3 months. It took me 3 months to start getting callbacks. It's a real struggle for me. I didn't want it. I felt like it was something I had to do. I resisted it so much. And the first thing I said was, okay, I'll apply for jobs, but in no way will I work in the healthcare industry. In no way will I do that, because the healthcare industry has hurt me so much. As somebody that struggled with chronic illness, and the doctors I saw were not able to help me, and I felt hurt by the system. And I said, I vowed I will never work in healthcare. So I turned down opportunities for that reason. and I applied everywhere else, and nothing happened. After 2.5 months of this, I started to get weary, and I was about to give up completely. And I was about to basically take a temporary position that paid next to nothing just so I could survive. And I was just giving up on my goals. And, early on, I had written a statement of what I wanted. Similar to in The Secret, when you write something as if it's happened and then you manifest it, right? And you affirm it and you say it's true, it's happening. And it was this big statement. You can read it on my blog later. It was basically, this is the job I have. This is how much money I take home. This is the people that I work with. This is the purpose that I'm here. I know that I'm there for a reason. I know that I've been brought there for a purpose. I work with people who value me and respect me. I'm in harmony. I'm able to actually help. All of these things that I wanted in my life from this job that I was looking for. But I didn't specify where, and I vowed, but I didn't write it down. I vowed in my heart I will never work for healthcare because I can't forgive that. Well, 2.5 months, and I start getting these messages from Spirit. You have to do this. You have to go into healthcare. And Spirit gave me a job interview at a very large corporation that's all about healthcare. This company, I don't speak for them, and my opinions are not theirs. This company, they're the third largest company in America right now due to a recent merger with an insurance company. It was a big deal, and it represented everything that I hated in my heart. And Spirit says, you have to go. You have to go. The person who's hiring you is a light worker, and you have to help her. And the people that are going to work with you need your help. You have to go. This is a big deal. And then Spirit gave me some other information that I'm not going to say here, because honestly, this is something that I am wrestling with right now. The information that Spirit has given me about this situation, I almost don't want to believe it, but a big part of me does. So we'll just leave it at that they told me something that's a really big deal and the reason why I'm there. Though the reason why I'm there and not doing this work full time, or the reason why I'm there and not doing something completely different that's comfortable, is because I'm meant to accomplish a big purpose. And that's what they told me. And I have to trust that. I just have to trust that. So that's what I deal with. The bigger the purpose, the tougher the path. You believe this to be true. Going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to scroll up and answer the questions in the order that they were received. Okay. So first question is Robin's. Okay, so what do you do when you're projecting and you're standing there watching people die and you try to move to help them, but there's a force in front of you and all you can do is stand there and watch? I see things when they happen, before they happen. This sounds like actually something that a lot of people actually experience in dreams. Robin, you may experience it either in dreams or a more conscious form. I know we've had conversations about this before. So you're watching other people suffer and you're watching other people die. You want to help, but you can't. You can't. You're not supposed to. And what you're seeing is that there's literally a force in front of you stopping you. So you have to trust that. Because if you resist the force, it's not going to give. It's not going to give to your pushing against the force. That's the first. This is an uncomfortable message because I know how desperately you want to help, and they know it too. They know it. All of those people who are suffering and dying, their higher selves know that you want to help them. They know your heart. At the end of this life where we're looking back and we know how everything fits together, they understand and they know, and they forgive you for not being able to help. They forgive you because they know that you were not meant to do that. That was not your highest service to them, to stop them from dying. They needed to die. And that's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But they needed to go through that experience for their reasons, for their outcomes. Now, that's not enough of an answer. It's not enough of an answer. And it never is enough of an answer, because what torture that is to be held in this spot where you see things going on. And this is a universal experience too. Even if you don't have that exact same experience, you're being held in one place as an observer, to see things happening, to see people suffering, to see tragedy, to see death, and you desperately want to help, and you can't. You're literally being held back. And I can feel this force. You're not meant to resist it. You're not meant to push against it. But you're not meant to stand there passive either. You have to do something. You have to do something. That something is not what your mind thinks it is. That the thing is, when you go to that event and you're seeing it happen, you're actually time traveling into the future. You are time traveling. As a time traveler, because you come from the past, you cannot change this other point in time. That's the limitation of this body that we're in. Is as time travelers, we cannot change our future. Remember, our future causes our present just as much as the past causes the present. You cannot change the future because it makes you who you are. And seeing that happen makes you who you are. You can't, you're not meant to. It's not your role. But that observation that you saw, what can you do? That's the question. What can you do? Because you can't do nothing. You are forbidden from being passive. So that is a message to you, Robin. You are forbidden from being passive. Even if you don't think you can help, even if you can't do what you want to do in the moment, you're not allowed to be passive. You must do something purposeful. This is a hard path, but it's your calling. It's a hard path, but they say you're strong enough for that path. And your path is to take what you have observed and seen, that evidence of suffering, pain, death in the future, and bring it into the present and put yourself in a place to help right now. Don't be attached to preventing things from happening. The point is not to prevent things from happening. The point is to not prevent people from reaping what they sow. We reap what we sow. You can't do anything about that. But you also reap what you sow. And you can take what you learned back into the present and start planting seeds in people's hearts so we can become better people. You are meant to help us all become better people in our hearts, Robin. That's your special purpose. You have a gift that's completely unique. You recognize it. You need to step up to it, and you need to start planting those seeds. You've already planted a seed in my heart just from being who you are. Just from allowing yourself to be in my presence and show yourself genuinely to me. You're not like everybody else. You're unique. You're different. You're not allowed to stay passive. You're not allowed to hide. You have to continue to put yourself out there and continue to plant seeds. And you're going to get more guidance, and you're going to get more peace and clarity with every seed you sow in the here and now. So take that, please take that. If you need to go back in the replay and listen to that again, that's all they want you to know, because you know the rest now. You know the rest now. That's what you're meant to do. You know what's expected of you. You know what's not expected of you. You need to obey and trust that, because that's your highest power. That's your highest power in accepting the calling that you've been given. Okay, we're going to move on. Marisol, will I be able to accomplish a task given from Source? Yes, Marisol, and it's a lot easier than you think it is. So the energy that's coming in for you is really easy. It's like this voice, this person is just sitting there and saying, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Maybe you have someone in your life that's like that. Maybe you have a mentor in your life, or maybe you had a mentor in the past that's like that. That gives you that feeling. You tell this person your problems, you tell this person everything that's troubling you, and say, oh, what do? I don't know what to do. And this person, this mentor, this guide comes in and says, no big deal. You got it. It's not a problem at all. It's easy. That's the energy that you need to ask for and allow to come into your life. Because, of course, you don't know if you'll be able to accomplish it because you haven't accomplished it yet. But nothing is stopping you from taking that first step. Nothing's stopping you from taking that first step. So Marisol, feel free to reach out and let me know if you felt like that was what you needed, or you have another question. I'm going to move on. Lenore, the bigger the purpose, the tougher the path. The bigger the purpose, the tougher the path. I think, so this comes down, I'm not going to think on this. I'm going to ask for the guidance here. The stressful part of that thought or that theory is the word tough. What we think is tough as humans isn't truly tough. What we think is difficult is easy for spirit. What we think is the hardest thing in the world is no problem for God, who can do anything. The bigger the purpose, that's all it is. We all have an infinitely big purpose. There's no ranking. There's no bigger. No one person has a bigger purpose than any other person. And you may have multiple, multifaceted purposes in your life. And none of those purposes is bigger or smaller than the other. It's all universal. It's all infinite. We're all made in the image of the divine. We're all made in the image of infinity. So all of us have infinite purpose. Without us, there would be none of this. It really is about you. It really is about your energy and how you feel and what you project out. And that creates the whole universe, your whole universe that we share. But we're all one being. We look like we're separate. We feel and we act like we're separate. And then from there, we take that next human step and we start to rank each other. We start to rank ourselves among each other and say, well, I've got a bigger purpose than you. You're useless. Or I'm useless. You're important. I don't have much to do here. Or, you know, what is the bigger thing that I'm supposed to do besides this useless junk that I'm doing with my day? And that's all a lie. That's all an illusion. There's no ranking. There is no bigger purpose, and there is no smaller purpose. There is one purpose that we're meant to be here for, only one. And we can express it in a million different ways. Some of us can say that purpose is to love. Some of us can say that purpose is to grow. Some of us say that purpose is to trust in source. Some of us say that purpose is to heal. But even though we say it in a million different ways, it all comes back to this one purpose that we all embody. And we can never put it into words because it's all of us human beings together, all of us plants and animals and fungi and bugs and bacteria and earth beings and spirit beings together, orchestrating this, all the planets as they revolve around each other and around the galaxy and around the universe, everything working together for the highest purpose. All things work together for the highest good. All things work together for your good. And none is better or worse or bigger or smaller than the other. What's next? Angelica, hi. What do you do when you can't astral? When you can't. So, just speaking as Kian here, I don't know if you joined after I did the training on astral travel, but there is a training in this group if you want to search for it. And I also posted an infographic with the steps that you need to do before you astral travel. So whether you've seen that or not, just the information is out there. What do you do when you can't? Well, the first step is to ask for help. And it's funny that this is all coming out and it's all coming together because when you ask for help, you get the next guidance. You get the next guidance. And if you had signed up for the free guide, I emailed it to you actually earlier this week. And there's 7 steps on it for gaining power over your psychic abilities. And the number 1 is ask for help. And the reason why it's number 1 is because we always forget to ask. So we spin our wheels like, how do I do this? How do I do this thing that I want to do? Whether it's astral project or some project or some other thing, or like even how to act in a relationship. What do I do? I don't know what to do. I can't do it. I just can't break through that barrier. I just can't do it. Oh, how am I going to do it? And we think and we occupy our minds and we fill our minds with this junk of I can't. I'm helpless. I don't have the ability. I don't have this. I don't have that. I just can't. Helplessness. That's a lie. So it's time to ask. It's time to ask. And it may seem way too simple, but I hope you can listen to that. I hope you can hear that message. I'm going to pull a card for you, Angelica. I'm going to pull a card. Commitment. So I see. So it's easy to ask without commitment because you don't trust that you'll get the answer. So you basically say, well, I'll ask for help. I don't know if they're going to help me. And they don't like that wishy-washiness too much. I mean, they're not going to give you what you're asking for if you're not committed to the ask. Meaning, be clear in your asks, be certain in your asks, and be committed. Ask yourself, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to astral project? Do you really want to have this ability? Because there's a risk involved with any gift. There's a risk involved. They want to know if you really want this. So ask yourself first, do I want this? And if I want this, will I ask in a committed and clear and defined way and trust that I'll get the answer? That's the shift that you need to make. That may take some time, but if you're struggling with that, then the first thing to do is to ask for clarity, and ask for clarity on your own desire, and then ask for the commitment to come in. Angela, how do I truly know what I'm supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be doing whatever you're doing right now. You're supposed to be doing this very small action that you're taking in this very moment. You're doing something. Even if you don't think you're doing anything, even if you're just sitting still, you're doing something with your mind, you're doing something with your heart, you're doing something with your understanding, you're doing something with your plans, your thoughts, and your dreams, and you're shifting and you're healing within yourself. You're supposed to be doing that. The only way to know what you're supposed to do and really know is to start doing it. See how it feels. Don't be afraid of trial and error. Don't be afraid to give it a try and mess up. Okay, I'm going to move on. Cool. Thanks for the responses, Angelica. Yes. So you have gifts, you have dreams, you have visions. Next step. Yep. Next step is ask for that level of clarity and then commitment. Hi, Donna. Okay, so I had this bad dream that my brother committed suicide last year. I cried and said, he knows better. He knows it's wrong to do that. I tried to forget recently. His daughter went to live with him. We're finding out that she's taking pills for all kinds of conditions. I'm afraid it's her that I had a dream about it. Came to me that I'm afraid it's her. Okay, you might not like this, but they're saying that you need to start treating her with kindness, and then you'll get your answer. That's the only way you're going to know. If you're hard in your heart towards her, and you feel that suspicion to the point that you're closing off your heart and you see her as the enemy, you're never going to know the truth, whether it was her or not, because you don't know the truth. And of course, there's a fear, what if it was? But what if it wasn't? Do you really want to know the truth? If you do, the only way to know is to start softening your heart towards her and start trying to understand rather than judge who she is and what kind of person she is. If you go in with a kind heart and you start to understand, and I'm not saying you have to trust her with any part of your life, but what I am saying is that you have to trust that compassion and love is the way. Sensitivity and understanding is the way, because she's a suffering soul as well. She's suffering. She has her own pain. And she needs help. You don't have to do anything except shift your attitude and ask your higher power to make your heart open and make you more compassionate and loving to her no matter what. And each step you take on that path, you're going to grow as a person, and it's going to be really hard. But each step you take on that path of growth and opening your heart to her and allowing yourself to give love to this person that you are suspicious of, this person that you may hate, every step you take, you're going to get closer to knowing the real truth. So only do that if you want to know the real truth. If you want to live in this lack of knowledge forever, and you want to live in this fear forever, you don't have to do anything. But if you genuinely want to know the truth, you will have to soften your heart. And they will guide you and they will support you if that's what you need. They will give you all the support that you need. Your higher power will give that to you. What's next? Marisol, am I attracting sentient beings to me, or why are they coming? What I get is they're passing by you on your path. They're coming to you, but they're not meant to stay. The figure I see is like somebody is walking by you. So you're walking on this path of your life, walking forward. And there's a being that comes by, and the being looks you in the eye. And while they're looking you straight in the eye, they're dropping a rock. I'm not saying it's literally what you experience, but this is the feeling and the energy of what their intention is for you. So they want to look you right in the eye. They want you to know that they're there. Yep, I'm there. I'm going to drop a rock for you on your path. I'm not going to be like, here's the rock. I'm just going to look you in the eye and then just drop the rock next to you on your path and then cross you on one side. So you have one being coming, looking you in the eye, dropping a rock on your path, and then going on your right side. You have another being coming by, looking you straight in the eye, making sure you really see it, looking you right in those eyes that drill right into you, and you know that person is there, that being is there. They drop another rock on your left side, and then they pass you on your left side. And this is the energy of it, is they're passing you by. You don't have to hold on to them, but you do have to acknowledge that they came to you. And then you have to go and get that gift that they left for you. What did they bring to you? What is it? And if you ask to be guided to what that gift is, ask for your eyes to be pointed in the right direction to see that gift and know that gift. And you'll know what that was. Maybe it was a lesson, person, a feeling, or an idea. But they're all leaving you gifts. Each one of these beings is leaving you gifts and then going off on their own path. This is an honest and ever-going, never-ending inquiry here. There's no absolute because they're traveling just like you are. Victoria, I feel there's a huge shift coming right now where we're all being awakened more so than normal. It's completely and 100% true, and the reason why it's true is because you are being awakened. I speak to you under this assumption that you create your universe. I have my own universe, but I know in my universe, if I become more awakened, so does everyone else at the same time. We enable each other. It happens simultaneously. So yes, 100%, absolutely, we are being awakened more than normal. And it's not just you, but the fact that you're awakening is making it happen. Just like the fact that I'm awakening makes it happen. And the fact that we're all awakening makes it happen. Each one of us makes it happen. So yes, 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 it's happening. It's happening. So if you're given information of any kind, it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. The next step is to ask a question. So think about that. If you've received information recently about something that's going to happen in the future, I'd love for you to next ask, okay, so what do I do with this? What's my role? What am I meant to do? What am I not meant to do? What am I forbidden from doing? You might not like that answer because what you're forbidden from doing is the thing that you really want to do. But if you ask with an open heart and trust that you're going to be given the right guidance, you will receive the right guidance. Asking for help helps everybody. Lenore, it's awesome and makes relationships more loving and understanding, amazing and beautiful. And it comes down to also observing without judging. So when you catch yourself judging a situation, judging is not always recognizable, but you'll learn. If you think, this is good, or this is bad, or, oh, I don't like that person. That person's mean. That person's a jerk. Oh, I don't respect that person. Ugh, they're repulsive. Oh, they're nice. Ooh, maybe I can get something out of that person. These are all we observe and then we judge. Who gave you evidence that that person is really a jerk? Who gave you evidence that we're really supposed to get something from somebody because they look like somebody that could give you something? They look like somebody that you could follow and there'd be something in that relationship for you? So be able to tell a distinction between what you observe and what you're judging. And then when you catch yourself judging, backtrack a few steps and then try again. Instead of judgment, try curiosity. Okay, so what is that all about then? Tegan says, I often run into the same guy that I grew up with. Is he a pathstone for me? Do I need to reach out to him, teach out to him? I'm married, but I feel he keeps showing up for some real reason. Is he a friend or mentor, I wonder? Because he keeps coming back all random. Okay, what I'm really just hearing on that is past life. That's something you want to explore, is past life. You and this person have a past life relationship. It's not super relevant to this life. It's not that important. So this is a great situation and a great opportunity to observe what happens when you interact. And you don't have to judge it, and you don't have to have an expectation on what you need to do. You don't need to reach out. There's no obligation to do anything. There's no obligation to act a certain way unless you're feeling that guidance where you know, yep, absolutely, absolutely. So you'll know. But the real key is past life, and you never actually have to interact with this person in this life unless you really want to. There's no obligation. It's past life. So you can actually go and ask for guidance on that and explore that, and you'll get a clear answer. Carol, thanks for sharing. My life has been turned upside down the last 15 months. Lost my apartment to fire. Homelessness is maddening, not knowing if I will ever have another home of my own. Thank you for sharing. I want to witness you, because losing your home, and especially a fire, it's scary. It feels uncertain. It feels insecure. I feel that you're safe. I feel that you're going to be fine and everything's going to be okay. I do feel that. But I also know that you have your own path to walk here in learning that for yourself. Okay. I'm going to do the song now. So the lyrics are in the description. And if you feel guided to listen. If you feel guided to pray, if you feel guided to just sit and ask your questions to Spirit while you listen or while you meditate on the lyrics. This is an inquiry, and this is a question that we all ask. This is a request that we can all make to Spirit. Hello, mercy, I have been searching for you lately. I've been wounded, and from what I hear, you have the remedy. They told me you would be for me, so now I need to know if this a love that can save me, or say you will, then don't. Will you stay with me when nobody is around? If this is real, then tell me now. Can you hold me together? Can your love reach down this far? Can you hold me together? 'Cause without you holding my heart, I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart. Saying so long, been lost, been gone, not sure what to pray. It's not easy, but I know you see me when I lose my way. I keep on floating, not knowing if there is more for me. Don't want to sink beneath waves of negativity. I'm going under, I'm afraid that I might drown. If this is real, I need you now. Can you hold me together? Can your love reach down this far? Can you hold me together? 'Cause without you holding my heart, I'm falling apart. Without you, I'm falling apart. We all depend on Spirit. We all depend on a higher power. And this higher power brings us together, not just as people, but it brings us together as one being, ourselves, and holds us together when we feel like everything is out of control. I can't do that for you. I'm a human being. I can teach, I can share my own experience. I can give you tools and tricks. I can give you strategies. I can give you ideas. And you have to work with them, you know? We can all help each other. We can give each other lots of different types of support. But ultimately, what holds us together? It's not you, it's not me, it's not any one person. It's our higher power, it's love. God, spirit, source, infinite being, universal being, gods, the system of gods, spirit beings. However you see the divine, because the divine can show up in so many different ways. The divine is infinite, and so it presents itself to us as a singular, as a one, as a plural, as many. What do we need? What do we need to come from the divine to hold us together? And that's what we need to trust in, because it's the only thing that holds us together. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I'm going to do another song. This one is called Your Love Never Fails. This is one of the songs when I was searching spiritually, and I flipped onto Christian radio, and I didn't believe in God, and I definitely wasn't a Christian at the time, but the lyrics were so universal, and the lyrics spoke to this you, this universal divine you, and I just connected, and I said, there's got to be something out there. And my understanding these days is however you see it and however it comes to you, is your relationship with the divine. And the divine is here for us and shows up in an infinite number of ways. So I'm going to post these lyrics because this is how I know the divine to be. Okay. So this one is called Your Love Never Fails. Nothing can separate, even if I ran away. Your love never fails. I know I still make mistakes. You have new mercies for me every day. Your love never fails. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me, and your love never fails. The wind is strong and the water's deep, but I'm not alone here in these open seas. Your love never fails. The chasm was far too wide. I never thought I'd reach the other side, but your love never fails. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You stay. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me. Your love never fails. Your love never fails. 'Cause you make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. Please, please let that give you trust. We can't prove it with our human ways. We can't create an argument for love, but we have to trust that love is forever. No matter what we're going through, and no matter how hard it is, there's going to always be another side. So the last message is that if you're questioning what is going to happen in your life, in the world, we all have something on our hearts about what's going to happen to us. What's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to my family, what's going to happen to the people I love, and what's going to happen to our world that we live in, that our children are going to grow up in. The will of the divine is love, because love rules us. The will of God is love, because God is love. The will of the infinite, universal, all-powerful being that is in every single one of us has to come true, because it is the will of our Creator, the will of the one who decides how everything goes. So the will of love must always comes true, and is now in progress of coming true in our lives. And we bless that, we honor that. Let us grow in our hearts. Let us open our hearts to accept that and to embrace that and to welcome it into our lives and to ask for help when we need it. Take all the time you need to heal. Take all the time you need to forgive those in your life that hurt you. And take all the time that you need to, most of all, love and forgive yourself, no matter what you've been through, no matter what mistakes you've made. Love is always, always, and never ending, still there for you. Always constant, always here, always infinite, and all powerful. All things will be finished. Our Creator doesn't start things to not finish them. Everything that started will be finished, and it will be done through you and through all of us. You're meant to play a part in it. If you so want to, you can. If you're here, you're being called. You're being called to play a part in it, because you'd rather play a part in it than not. You're not allowed to stand by. You're not allowed to do nothing. You have to do something, even if it's not the thing that your mind tells you to do or what other people tell you to do. You're being guided every moment, every second, every minute, every day. God bless you all. If you don't like the word God, I want you to understand your relationship with the divine for your own. And know that you are loved, blessed, given so many gifts, including love, forgiveness, and comfort and support in all your times of need. So with that, I hope everyone has a beautiful night, beautiful weekend. Please feel free to reach out, post in the group, comment what your thoughts were on this, any reflections that come as you take this into your night. You don't have to respond right away. I advise you not to. I advise you to take some time and walk away from this experience and walk away and let it integrate and reflect, and then go out into your life and see what happens. Go out into your life and see what changes. Go out into your life and see what grows within you and is reflected outside of you. And let me know how it goes. Good night.